They make you question your own reality. They twist your words, your memories, your truth. One moment, they're warm and reassuring, and the next, they're rewriting the past, convincing you that what you saw, what you felt, never really happened. It's not just manipulation. It's mental warfare. Gaslighting doesn't just distort facts, it distorts you. You start apologizing for things you didn't do, doubting things you know are real, walking on eggshells in your own mind. And slowly, you begin to wonder if you're the problem. If maybe, just maybe, you're the crazy one, but you're not. And the Stoics knew this kind of battle long before the term gaslighting even existed. They faced emperors who lied to them, crowds that mocked them, and circumstances designed to make them lose control of their own reason. And through it all, they learned one powerful truth. No one can control your mind unless you give them permission. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That line isn't a cliche, it's a weapon. Because when someone gaslights you, what they really want is your reaction. They want your confusion, your anger, your self-doubt. That's the fuel that keeps their manipulation alive. The Stoic learns to deny them that fuel. Think about Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, surrounded by flatterers, schemers, and deceivers. He wrote, "Do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." He knew that truth was a fortress, and inside that fortress, no manipulator could reach him. When you're being gaslighted, the world feels foggy, but Stoicism clears that fog by teaching you something radical. You do not owe your sanity to someone else's approval. You do not owe your peace to their version of reality, and you do not have to fight every lie to prove your truth. Because every time you react, they win. Every time you chase validation, you surrender your peace. The Stoics remind us, the greatest victory is self-control. But what does that actually look like when you're being gaslighted in real life? When someone you care about looks you in the eye and says, "That never happened," how do you stay calm when your entire reality is being rewritten in front of you? How do you keep your strength when the truth itself feels like it's slipping away? That's where Stoic discipline becomes more than philosophy. It becomes survival. And in the next part, we'll go deeper into how to build that inner fortress. The kind of mental strength that not only shields you from gaslighters, but makes you immune to their power entirely. Imagine this. You're in a conversation with someone. You clearly remember what was said, but they insist. That's not what happened. You feel that knot in your stomach, that sudden rush of doubt, and before you know it, you're defending your sanity instead of your truth. That's the trap, and it's how the cycle begins. But Stoicism teaches us something profound. It's not about fighting every lie. It's about mastering your inner perception. The Stoics called it the discipline of assent, meaning you get to choose which impressions you accept as true and which ones you let pass. Epictetus said, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." At first, that might sound like he's saying, blame yourself, but it's deeper than that. He's saying, stop letting external chaos dictate your inner world, because once you start reacting to everything, you lose control over your reason. And the Stoics knew reason is freedom. When you're being gaslighted, you're not just fighting another person. You're fighting for your mind. They want to pull you into their emotional storm, make you defend, explain, overthink. But the Stoic stands like a rock, unmoved by the waves that crash against it. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It's not a motivational quote. It's a survival strategy. Because when someone tries to manipulate your reality, the greatest defense is not louder words or sharper arguments. It's stillness, it's silence, it's calm recognition of truth within yourself. The Stoics didn't escape manipulation by fighting harder. They escaped by becoming untouchable from within. You can do the same. Next time someone twists your words, don't rush to prove them wrong. Pause, breathe, observe, Ask yourself, what's within my control right now? Your reaction is, their opinion isn't. When you stop chasing validation, something powerful happens. The gaslighter loses their weapon because their control depends on your emotional response. And when that stops working, the game ends. But staying calm doesn't mean you tolerate abuse. It means you protect your peace with boundaries built on reason. You can walk away. You can distance yourself. You can say nothing. All of that is power. All of that is stoicism in action, by the way. If you haven't seen my video where I break down Epictetus lessons on how to stay calm in the middle of chaos, I'll leave the link in the description. In that video, we explore how stoicism helps you remain unshaken, no matter what's happening around you. That perspective will connect beautifully with what we're about to uncover here. But of course, finish this one first. The Stoic path isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about mastering them. When you master your emotions, you control your reality, because the gaslighter's goal is not to change the truth, it's to change how you feel about it. They know if they can make you emotional, they can make you forget reason. And when you lose reason, you lose yourself. But here's the secret the Stoics discovered. When you become calm in the face of manipulation, you expose it. You strip away its power. You make it visible for what it is. A desperate attempt to control what was never theirs to begin with. And this is where many people misunderstand stoicism. It's not emotional coldness. It's emotional intelligence at its highest form. It's knowing when to respond and when to simply walk away with your peace intact. Because sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Epictetus said, any person capable of angering you becomes your master. So if they can't anger you, they can't control you. And that's exactly why stoicism is the antidote to gaslighting. Still, there's one question that remains. If stoicism teaches calm and detachment, does that mean you should never confront manipulation? Should you just walk away and let them win? Or is there a way to stand your ground without losing your peace? The answer lies deeper in Stoic philosophy. And in the next part, we'll uncover how to confront deception. Not with anger, but with clarity. Not with emotional chaos, but with unbreakable self-mastery. Because true strength isn't loud. It's calm, centered, and untouchable. There's a moment in every gaslighting situation where you start to wonder, maybe I'm the problem. That's the turning point. Because once you start questioning your own sanity, instead of the other person's manipulation, they've already won half the battle. But here's where stoicism becomes your armor. The Stoics understood that perception is everything. Not because perception changes reality, but because it shapes your experience of reality. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And he was right. The manipulator can only distort your world if they can first hijack your imagination, if they can make you picture yourself as wrong, confused, unworthy. That's when you start fighting shadows instead of facts. But what happens if you start questioning your thoughts instead of your worth? What happens when you pause and say, wait, is this feeling truly mine? Or was it planted by someone else? That single moment of awareness is where freedom begins. You see, stoicism isn't about pretending bad things don't happen. It's about taking control of your interpretation of those things. Because interpretation is where manipulation lives. Gaslighters don't control events. They control meanings. They rewrite stories, twist intentions, alter emotional tone. And if you let them define the meaning, you lose your peace. But the Stoic refuses to give away that power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. So change your judgment, and you change everything." This is how you reclaim your reality. One thought at a time. Here's something few people realize. Gaslighters thrive on confusion, but Stoicism thrives on clarity. The more you understand yourself, your principles, your values, the less they can twist them. Because Stoicism gives you something immovable, your reasoned choice. And that's the one thing no one can take away from you. When someone says you're overreacting, instead of rushing to defend yourself, ask quietly inside, Am I? Examine it with reason, not emotion. If the answer is yes, then learn, grow, adjust. If the answer is no, then stand firm. Either way, you stay in control, and that's the Stoic advantage. You stop playing their game. You stop defending your truth to someone who never cared about it. You start living by your own internal compass. There's something deeply liberating about that. When your peace no longer depends on someone's version of events, you become unbreakable. That's why Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a form of mental armor. It's the art of keeping your sanity when others are trying to rewrite it, by the way. If you've watched my earlier video, How to Stay Calm in Chaos, you'll remember how we explored the idea of emotional detachment without indifference. That exact same principle applies here. Because when you stop reacting, the manipulator loses interest. They feed on chaos, not calm, so your stillness becomes your greatest weapon. But here's the question most people never ask. If staying calm protects you, how do you confront manipulation without becoming manipulative yourself? How do you hold someone accountable without losing your inner balance? This is where Stoic courage enters. Courage not as loud defiance, but as quiet strength. The courage to speak truth, not to change them, but to stay true to yourself, because the Stoic knows that integrity is not negotiable. So when you face manipulation, remember this: you don't have to prove what's real. You just have to live what's real. Every calm breath, every steady tone, every moment you refuse to play their emotional game is proof that you've risen above it. The Stoics would say, focus on what is yours, your thoughts, your choices, your actions, and let the rest fall away like noise. Because when the noise fades, you'll realize something the gaslighter never wanted you to see, that the truth was never lost. You were just convinced to doubt it. But once you see clearly again, once you take back your judgment, you start to live from a different place. A place of power, reason, and quiet self-trust. Still, there's one final piece missing, because Stoicism doesn't just help you survive manipulation. It helps you use pain as a tool and deception as a teacher. That's what we'll uncover next. There's a moment after every storm when the noise fades, the confusion clears, and you're left standing in the silence of your own thoughts. It's in that silence that you finally meet yourself again. That's what the Stoics were trying to teach us all along. That peace isn't something given to you. It's something remembered, something that's been waiting underneath the chaos. Gaslighting is powerful because it makes you forget that. It makes you question what you once knew was true. But the Stoics remind us, truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs you to listen long enough to hear it again. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And that's the essence of this entire journey. The gaslighter wants your reaction. The Stoic chooses their response. One is slavery, the other is freedom. But how do you hold that freedom when someone close keeps twisting your reality? Here's a thought experiment the Stoics would give. Imagine you're a sailor in a storm. The waves crash, the winds howl, the ship tilts, but you don't control the sea, only the rudder. You grip it tight, adjust your course, stay present. Because losing focus even for a moment means being swept away. Gaslighting is that storm. Your reason is the rudder. Hold it tight, and you'll make it through. You might stumble, you might doubt, you might even lose your footing for a while. But the key is to return. Return to your principles, to your values, to your reason. Because every time you return, you rebuild the muscle of your mind. And one day you'll look back and realize the storm didn't break you. It trained you. Now, let's go deeper. The Stoics believed every challenge was an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Gaslighting feels like a wall, unmovable, suffocating, final. But what if it's actually the very thing pushing you to awaken, to master your emotions, sharpen your awareness, strengthen your boundaries? The manipulator thinks they're weakening you, but you're quietly transforming. They're teaching you the one skill they never expected, resilience. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, what is this teaching me? That question alone flips the entire game, because gaslighters feed on your confusion, not your curiosity. Curiosity disarms manipulation. It turns pain into insight. It turns you into a philosopher of your own life. And when you start living that way, when you start seeing through lies without becoming bitter, you reach a level of peace that no one can touch. That's Stoic mastery, unshakable, calm, and powerful. But here's something deeper most people never realize. Forgiveness in Stoicism isn't about letting people get away with it. It's about refusing to carry their poison. You forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. And that peace begins when you stop letting them live rent-free in your head. You might be wondering, how do I apply this when emotions feel overwhelming? When I'm too tired to think clearly? When the truth feels buried under manipulation and exhaustion? That's where Stoic practice becomes daily discipline. Journaling, self-reflection, and reasoned distance. These are not old rituals. They're tools for survival in the modern world. So tomorrow, when someone tries to twist your words, when you feel that familiar confusion creeping in, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what is truly in my control right now? That question alone can save your peace, because it brings you back to the present moment, the only place truth can live. And here's the paradox. When you stop trying to win arguments, you start winning yourself back, because gaslighters lose their grip on those who no longer seek their approval. They can't control someone who has learned to be calm in chaos, by the way. If you haven't watched my video, How to Stay Calm in Chaos, Epictetus and Stoic Philosophy Explained, I'll leave the link in the description. In that video, we explore how to protect your peace even when life feels like it's falling apart. It's the perfect continuation of what we've just talked about. I'll recommend you watch it right after this one, so the next time someone tries to twist your truth, remember this: you don't need to argue, you don't need to prove, you just need to know. And that quiet knowing, that unshakable calm, is what Stoicism has been trying to teach humanity for over 2,000 years. Because real strength isn't loud, it's composed. It's not in the storm. It's in the stillness that remains after it passes. If this message helped you see things differently, make sure to subscribe to The Thinking Path. We're building a global community of modern philosophers, people learning to think deeply, live wisely, and rise above the noise. And as always, thank you for walking this path with me. Until next time, stay calm, stay grounded, and remember, the truth doesn't need to shout to be real.